Hello everybody and welcome back to this channel. My name is Zubair Charles. I'm an English home language teacher and I've been teaching for the past 5 years now. I also have experience in marking poetry at the NSC Marking Center for English Home Language Paper 2. So I'm hoping that the skills and tips that I've learned during that process I can share with you guys watching this video. Additionally, my goal with this channel is to share all the skills that I've learned whilst teaching grade 12 over the years and teaching English throughout the years with any learners watching this video, right? As well as any novice teachers who are watching or are tuning into this channel. You guys, I encourage you to please use some of the methodologies that I use with regards to teaching poetry within your classroom. I'm presently completing my master's in creative writing, so I hope that during any time or after this video that you would please check out some of my own writing. The links are all in the description box below. So let's get started. As always, I like to link learners' prior knowledge with the specific content knowledge of a particular lesson. So learners, you have what is called everyday knowledge, prior knowledge, right? Knowledge that you've gained throughout your life, right? And I want to link that with what we are going to learn today, right? And I'm going to do that with a series of introductory or probing questions. Firstly, I want to ask, what are some of the good memories from your childhood, right? So think about it. As always, pause this video. Maybe you want to chat to a friend or a sibling at home or to your parents, or if there isn't anybody around you currently, pause this video like I said and think about some of the answers, right? Because this is going to tie in with the content of the poem. So again, question number one, what are some of the good memories from your childhood? Okay, next question. Did your view of the world change when you became older? Now, say for example, when you were a child, right, or a toddler, you had a certain view of your surroundings, of life, of the world, right? But as you grow old, as you've grown older, perhaps that has changed, right? Obviously, we don't view the world from a child's perspective anymore. We are older, life happens, and our views change, right? Our circumstances change, our attitudes change. So, again, did your view of the world change when you became older? Think about it, chat to somebody about this. Next question. Do you think that religion restricts people? Now, this is a debatable topic. Keep an open mind. This is a critical question. Maybe think of ways that, yes, religion, whichever one you prescribe to or follow, right? How does it restrict you? But in the same way, how does it not restrict you, right? Because this can be debated, and whatever arguments people come up with can be easily disputed, especially when, for those of you who are studying life of pi, right? So think about that. Do you think religion restricts people? Okay, and this brings us to our poem today, which is called The Garden of Love, and it was written by William Blake. So before we get to the actual poem, I just want to give you guys a summary that you can understand the poem a bit better. So what is this poem about? So in the poem, the speaker visits a garden which he once played in as a child. However, the speaker sees that a church has been built in this area. Right? So in the garden or this open field or area, right, that the speaker used to play in when he was a child, right, now that he's older, he sees, okay, a church has been built in that particular area, right? I'm going to go back and I'm going to read from over. The speaker visits a garden which he once played in as a child. However, the speaker sees that a church has been built in this area, and the space where beautiful flowers once bloomed is now occupied with graves. The doors of the church are closed, and the priests are patrolling the area, wearing black gowns. All the joy and happiness that the speaker once remembered of the garden is now replaced with restrictions, gloom, and death. Ultimately, the speaker refers to organized religion as depriving one of joy because he believes that religion restricts one's individual freedom and fulfillment in life. And remember, great wives, I said keep an open mind. You don't have to agree with the speaker or the poet's views. The Garden of Love by William Blake. I went to the Garden of Love and saw what I never had seen. A chapel was built in the midst where I used to play on the green, and the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. So I turned to the garden of love that so many sweet flowers bore, and I saw it was filled with graves of and tombstones where flowers should be, and priests in black gowns were walking the grounds and bounding with briars my joys and desires. Okay, so let's look at the title, The Garden of Love. What is going on here? The Garden of Love refers to a place of peace, beauty, and joy. This is the garden or area that the speaker used to play in when he was once a child. Furthermore, the title alludes to the Garden of Eden, where natural instincts and desire were not associated with shame and guilt. However, the title is ironic because the garden's present state is not the beautiful garden that the speaker once remembered when he was a child. And this highlights how the church has become repressive, focusing on restrictions rather than spiritual upliftment and beauty of life. Again, disclaimer, um, these are not my views, so these are the views expressed by the speaker or the poet William Blake on religion at the time. Right? So, again, keep an open mind when we read or study this poem. The title is used ironically. I'm going to this second last bullet point now. The title is used ironically as this garden has become a dreary and gloomy place of constraint and oppression. The title of this poem is misleading as it contradicts the reality of the descriptions of the garden as depicted in the poem. So remember, you think of a garden, a beautiful place with green grass and flowers and maybe vegetation, right, or trees. However, here in this last bullet point, it states the title of this poem is misleading as it contradicts, right, the reality of the descriptions of the garden as depicted in the poem. A garden is usually associated with freedom, tranquility, and beauty. However, this garden is described as a place of restriction because it is joyless, somber, and ominous. Let's look at a line by line analysis. I went to the garden of love and saw what I never had seen. What is the speaker speaking about? The poem begins with the speaker revisiting an area that he once used to play in as a child. Initially, the reader will expect the speaker to enter an area or a state of being that is open, free, and beautiful. However, this is not true, as the speaker sees something that he or she has never seen before. Right? Look at the pictures, guys. Pause in between. It's going to help you to get the understanding of poetry. Right? Poetry, we need to visualize, we need to picture those imageries. Right? A chapel was built in the midst. A new chapel has been built in the middle of the garden, precisely where the speaker used to play on the grass. One would think that by seeing this chapel, the speaker would feel joy. However, the speaker is indicating how both the chapel and organized religion as a whole has intruded on his pleasant and carefree childhood memories. The line indicates the poet's disapproval of the invasive and destructive nature of authoritarian religion. Again, these are the speaker's views on religion. Not you don't have to agree. Where I used to play on the green. What does that mean? Huh? So the speaker's youth there's a mistake here, not is, was a time of joy, freedom, and innocence. The line suggests how the fun times and one's pleasure in childhood was was once unrestricted. Right? Because it says I used to play on the green. obviously as an adult doesn't play in that area anymore or play at all. Okay, look at the picture. And the gates of of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. Whilst inspecting the chapel, the speaker sees that the gates are closed, and over the door, a forbidding, unfriendly, or threatening in appearance message that states, "Thou shalt not." So, okay, so you went up to the chapel, and when you looked at the door, right, um, the gates were locked, right, and on the door, right, over the door, the words "Thou shalt not" was present, right, or written there. The speaker's angry, disappointed, dismayed, or is disapproving, right? He's looking at um, this written message and he's like, what's going on here, right? This is evident in the words. So how do we know that the speaker's angry, disappointed, or dismayed, or disapproving, right? The words gates, right? It's the gates. It's closed, right? Right? There are gates. It's restricted. You can't go in there, right? And the gates are shut, right? The doors are shut, right? And this tells us that there's an essence of restriction, there's an essence of loss, right? And there's no free will here, right? And the speaker doesn't feel welcome at this chapel. Okay, we're continuing, and the gates of the chapel were shut, and thou shalt not let over the door. Let's look at one more point. So the warning "thou shalt not" alludes to the Old Testament, or the Ten Commandments, which forbid certain behaviors and reinforces the sense of restriction again, as viewed by the speaker. Okay, now look at the picture now. So I turn to the garden of love that so many sweet flowers bore. So the speaker then looks back over to the garden, right, which used to be full of beautiful flowers, right? And the speaker uses the term sweet, right? So what does that mean? The term sweet suggests that the speaker's memories are cherished, right, and are pleasing, right? These memories are gratifying and are remembered with pleasure and nostalgia because the speaker is reminded of carefree and unrestricted times he once had. Sorry. Now, and I saw it was filled with graves and tombstones where flowers should be. The speaker then sees that the garden that was once sorry, I don't know why once is there twice, sorry guys. That was that once mistake that was once filled with many flowers is now filled with graves. Okay, and that's pretty straightforward. Okay. The priests in black gowns were walking their rounds. The speaker then notices that the chapel's priests, who are dressed in black garments, are walking around the garden. Okay? The black gowns of the priests reveal that they lack compassion and that they are not approachable. The color black suggests that the church is strict. The priests are walking their rounds, and picture this, it's as if they are prison warders, resulting in their presence being threatening and ominous. Right? The priests are patrolling, walking around. Again, and priests in black gowns were walking their rounds. What does that mean? The priest's intention is to control and suppress people's enjoyment and freedom. Okay, and the last part, I believe, of the poem. What is going on? And bounding with briars my joys and desires, the speaker says that that these priests are using thorny branches, briars, to hold back his or her joys and desires, right? Instead of life flourishing, um, which is reference to flowers, the garden is now associated with death. It is filled with graves and tombstones. The priests in black gowns are like sinister figures on patrol. These lines reflect the speaker's criticism of authoritarian religions depriving one of joy. Sorry, whoops, I went too fast. The poet's central idea is that the religion restricts one, sorry, of individual freedom and fulfillment in life. And we're going to look at punctuation quickly. So if you notice, um, At certain points, the poet uses capital letters. So the use of capital letters in the first stanza shows that the garden probably is a reference to the Garden of Eden. Right? It is a figurative garden that has familiar connotative, ambiguous meanings. Sorry, I read badly there. The chapel that has replaced the garden is also capitalized. It indicates the church and her powers rather than a small place of worship. Right? The phrase "thou shalt not" right, ends with a full stop in the middle of the line to highlight the finality of the command. Thou shalt not. Full stop, right? I'm trying to make like a hard sound. Thou shalt not. Don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay? The use of capital letters and the full stop in the middle of the line add to the stifling mood. The church um, add to the stifling mood. Right? The church will not allow freedom, such as a garden would give a child in which to play. That innocence is prohibited, which helps create an oppressive mood. So, guys, this was a shorter analysis in reference to the other videos that I've done before. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, comment below, check out some of my writing as in the description box, and most importantly, don't forget to share with any of your friends or grade 12s out there at different schools, right, who are in need of additional assistance, right? If you are completing any tasks or assessments with regards to this particular poem, I wish you all the best. Or if you have any upcoming exams, June, September, or the end of year exam, best of luck, grade 12s. I really hope that this short video helps you understand the poem, The Garden of Love, much better. Right? So, all the best to you, and I'll see you over in our next video, right, in which we will look at some past exam questions and answers, and more importantly, what do you write or how do you answer those questions in your exam. Okay, I see you soon, and thank you very much for tuning in.